Python, only you have there's a no constant, but sometime if you want to define a type of a particular variable and the later you don't want to change that value of that variable, so just you can simply use any variable name in uppercase letter. Okay, what are the steps you have to follow when you're gonna create a variable here? For that I'm gonna upload a one notebook as well. So just I'm gonna take your moments here. So I'm gonna upload few notebooks what I have already created for the documentation for Python. So I'm gonna open these notebooks here. So these are some notebooks, and now we will discuss about the Python variables here. First of all, we will also discuss about the data types, variable and constant, and statement and comments, right? So I'm gonna upload all these files. Now that's cool. Just I have upload multiple notebooks here inside the current directory. If your notebooks are present in a different folder, just you can simply upload using this method. And now here, first of all, we have to discuss about the Python variable and constant literals. I'm gonna open this notebook and I will share this particular notebook along with you as well. In this notebook, I have created some notes, okay? And now this is a normal theoretical what you have to read, okay? I'm gonna explain. I'm gonna show the practical as well. So let me clear all the output here. Restart the notebook and I have cleared all the output. So now this is a notebook. What is actually a Python variable? If you would like to define a variable, so just that variable is a name location. You can simply store, if you like to store your data inside the memory. And if you want to retrieve the same data from memory, that's why you are using a variables, right? And how you will be able to define your variable, this is a method. So you can simply store your variable. This is an integer, what I have stored here. This is a string and these are the integer and this is a float. Okay, if you like to fetch values of these variable again, just you can simply type that particular number and you will fetch the value 12.5 because you have changed the value of the variable again. Earlier was you have defined the 10 and after that you have defined, because the Python is a dynamically typed programming language. Okay, we have already discussed this point as well. Now let's suppose if you like to assign your values inside the variable, okay, just you can simply change the values as well. Okay, just look at this. First of all, what I have done, if you would like to declare, there's a two terms you have to know, the declaring and the assigning of the value. Okay, in case of Python, there's a no need to declare your variable before. Okay, only you have to initialize directly. Okay, there's a no need to declare a variable before using that. Where you want to use this variable, just you can simply define directly there. So what I have done, if I have defined a one variable website and I have put a one website here, edgrant.com, and when I'm going to print this value, it will give you the value of this website, right? And after that, if I have changed the value of this website and after that I'm going to print it again, so you will get a different result here. So that's the expecting result what you are expected from this input. Now, if you would like to assign multiple variable into a single line, you can also do that particular thing using this method. Just you have to give the comma between the multiple variables, and after that you have to follow the sequence what you are typing here. So when you're going to type 5 first of all, so it will go inside the 5A, and the 3.2 will be stored inside the B, and the hello will store inside the C. Okay, you have to follow the sequence if you would like to define multiple variable at a single line. So just you can simply execute this shell and you will find out you have successfully defined the three variable here, A, B, and C. Okay. Okay, I got your Mahesh, I got your question. Don't worry, please don't use the notations. I'm going to explain it again. You can simply type your question first inside the, let me open the name of notations who are using the notations. That's cool. So here I'm going to clear first of all. Let's move forward. Now what I have done here, if you want to define a one variable, right, you need to use 3 line there. But in this case, just you can simply define 3 variable in a single line. And I have initialized the 3 values inside a single line. After that, either you can also print all the values into a single line as well. Now let's suppose if you would like to declare a single value inside the multiple variable. So there you have to use this method. And now what happened when you're gonna execute this shell? So edgrant string will be stored inside the X, Y, Z. So this is a method. If you like to store a single value in 3 variable, then you can simply use this method. No worry about the space. Either you can simply use the space here. If you will not use a space, that particular thing is also work. Okay, according to the standard method, if you want to define any variable, just we can simply use a space after the operator and the before the operator. That was a nice. Just I'm going to execute this shell again. Just look at this. In all the variables, you will get the same values 80 currently. So this is a method how can you simply define your variable inside the Python programming language. And now here what I was talking about the constant, right? So sometimes if you have defined a few values and the later you don't want to change these values, okay? But in case of Python, you will not find out any constant. Only there, whatever you want to define inside the Python, you will be able to change, you would be able to change those values of those variable. But let's suppose took an example, what I have done actually. So just a moment. So I'm going to show you the one file here. So what are the constant? Let's suppose if you would like to define a constant in a different programming language, there what you have done, so you have to create some variables using the uppercase. If I'm going to define a one variable here name, okay, if I'm going to define a num1, okay, whatever you want to do, I have defined it 100. So when you want to see a variable using the uppercase letter, what does it mean? This is a constant, okay? You don't have to change this value later in your program. But in case of Python, yep, you have to think only virtually, okay, logically. But if you want to define, if you would like to change the value of this num1, you can simply change it. Yes, I'm gonna show you. This is 100, right? And now if you want to change the value of num1, later just you can simply define it 200 as well. And now the later when you're going to print the values of the num1 here, so it's 200. But according to the standard method, when you trying to define any variable, you don't have to use uppercase, okay, because uppercase is used for the constant values. But in case of Python, there's a no constant, but most of the time according to the standard you have to use uppercase for the constant values, okay? And just in reality, we don't use constant in Python. Naming all in the capital letter is a convention to separate from the normal variables. So this is what we have to learn. This is some sort of rules. If you like to define any naming convention of variable, okay, so what type of name you can simply use here. So let's suppose to an example, if you like to define any variable, just you can simply use this lowercase character here. You can simply use 0 to 9 as well. Just you can simply read out all these documentation what I'm going to share along with you later. So these are the some sort of rules you have to follow when you are trying to create your variables. What are the rules? So let me explain. So if you're going to use this variable, this is a valid variable and all four are the valid variables. Okay, you cannot use a space inside the variable. I'm going to show you, just give me one moment. Also, you cannot use a special character inside a variable name, okay? Don't start a variable name with a digit. So all these are the rules what you have to follow if you like to create some variable. If let's suppose took an example, you want to create a variable name, look like my name, okay? And this is an example. I would like to store my name here. So this is a invalid syntax. You will not be available to you. You cannot use a space between the variable. So that's why you can simply use the underscore there. Now this is a valid variable what I have defined. You can simply print the value of this name. So these are the some sort of rules. When you are trying to define your variables, you have to follow these rules. Create a name that makes sense. For example, vowels make any more sense than V. Okay, that was if you want to define some variable instead of using ABX, so you have to use a special name for the variables. After that, if you want to check out your variables later in your own program, so you should have to identify why you have defined your variable the earlier. So you don't have to check it out again and again why you have defined. Okay, so these are the some sort of rules you have to read, guys. Okay, you cannot use a special character in your variable as well. Let's move to the next point, literals. Okay, when you will discuss about the literals, so these are the some special values you will find out. What happened? Let's take an example. If you like to define a normal variable, if I would like to store any integer, whatever I want to do. So let's take an example. I'm gonna write ABC. Oh, I would like to store 10, 10. That's cool. You can simply store this value. You can simply print the value of ABC as well. But sometime, let's suppose took an example. What I want to do, I want to define another variable name, DE or the num3. What I want to store, I want to store 0B111, or either I would like to use 0C. So what I have done, so this is a normal number, right? This is a number, but this is a character what I have defined here. So now actually, if you are trying to define this value, it will give you the invalid syntax. It could be an integer or it could be a string. If we have write a C character here, so what does it mean? So you are trying to type a string here, so you have to put the double quotes. Okay, so you have to put the double quotes or the single quote. Now you have to define this value. But the point is, if you will define the same thing inside this value, just look at this. I'm going to define 0b, 1 0 1 0, and you will be able to define this value. Okay, what does it mean? Because I have used a literal, so 0b is a literal for the decimal number. 0b is a literal for binary number, my bad. So if you're gonna print your num4 here, what happened? Just I'm trying to, please mute yourself, guys. Let me mute. If you have doubt, just you can simply type your doubts inside the chat box. I'm gonna read your doubts as well from there. Okay. So what I have done here, so just look at this. I have put the 0c right, and now you will not be able to define this variable without quotes. But when I have write is 0b, so what does it mean? Because this is a special character what I have typed here. That's actually, this is a literal what I have defined here. When I have defined this value, if you're gonna print the value of num4 here, you will get the 42, because this is a decimal number and that was a binary number of the 42. So what I have done, so these are the numeric literals you have to know. If you like to define some binary literals, then you can simply use 0b here. In case of decimal number, there's no need to define anything. Just you can simply type numbers, then you can simply use 0o. In case of hexadecimal, just you can simply use 0x. So these are the some special literals you have to use if you like to define some variables into a different type of numbers. Okay, only you can simply use these values. You will not be allowed to use the different values here. Okay, let me execute this particular column. Just you will find out. So these are, and now in case of float literals, you can simply use decimal. In case of complex literal, just we can say you will be allowed to use J here. Okay, this is a complex number, and inside the complex number, you will be find the two part of complex number. The first one is imaginary, the second one is real. So don't worry about it right now. Just you can simply read all these things later as well. Okay, don't think very much. Just these are the numbers what I have defined here. Only you have to know that these are the special literal only you can use. Okay, 0b, 0o, 0x, and z as well. Okay, into a different literals. Just look at, find out these are the values what I have defined here, and some values I have printed using this method. So what I have done, yeah, if you have any doubt, Pooja, just you can simply write your doubt inside Zoom. Okay, let me read some doubts if you have done some doubts inside this topic. Okay, I'm gonna explain a little bit slow, don't worry. Is this method called updation? Yeah, if you like to change the values of any variable, just you can simply define the values of variable again using the same method. Okay, C in hexadecimal, yep, actually D is a hexadecimal, not a C. Okay, yeah, D as a hexadecimal literal. If you like to print the value of D here, just this, the value of the D will be 300. Please remove the notations, guys. Don't disturb to another as well. Just we can simply drop your masses. Line number 20 line. Okay, let me repeat it. Don't worry. Okay, don't worry. So there's a multiple doubts you have. Let me repeat. So what happened? Yeah, I got your point. Please remove your notation. So in case of 23, what I have done, just look at this. I have defined a variable, right? This is a ABC variable. If you like to store your number, okay, this is a 1010. Because if you will discuss about the numbers, you will find out a multiple type of numbers. You will find out the decimal number, hexadecimal number, octal number, right? So in case of Python, if you want to store a normal number, so this is also a literal you are trying to define here. Literals are the value you will not be able to change. You will not be able to change the literals value. So if you like to define 10, 10, just what does it mean? You have defined the 10, 10 here. Just you can simply print the value of ABC and you will find out the same values. Now the later what I was trying to do, if you like to store just value 0, C, 10, 10, 10. So this is not a string, okay, this is not an integer as well. So this is an invalid syntax. Either if you like to create a string here, if you like to create a decimal literal here, just we can simply remove the C here. Okay, so now is it a string? Now this is an integer value what you have typed here. So I'm gonna remove this value. Okay, if you like to create a string, just you can simply type 0x, and now this is a string what you are able to see. Either you can simply check out the type of num3 here. What does it mean? This is a string you have defined here. But here, in case of num4, what I have done, so I have defined a one value along using a 0b literal, and 0b is used to define your values into a decimal format. Sorry, into a binary format. So 0b literal is used for a binary format. Okay, and what I have defined now, this is a binary number what I have typed here, 101010, and when you're gonna convert this binary number into a decimal number, it will convert into a 42. Okay, either if I'm gonna change 111, okay, just I'm gonna execute again num4. Now this is a 7, and now the binary code of the 7 will be 111. That's why you are able to see this one. Okay, and now these are the multiple literals what I have defined here. If you would like to store your number into a hexadecimal literal, just you can simply use this method. You have to type 0x first of all as in prefix. After that, you can simply define your number 12c. And now this is a number of the hexadecimal format. If you want to convert this number into a decimal format, you will get the 300 there. So this is a method how you would be able to define your numbers or literals. Okay, and now let me move forward. Just you have to read all these things. I have also explained all these things inside this particular document. Just we can simply read all these things as well. And now in case of string literal, okay, we will also discuss about the string data type. So what is actually a string literal? So one, you will discuss about the string literal here. So there's a multiple thing what I have written here. So what does it mean? Let's suppose if you will discuss about a normal string, what I'm trying to do, if you like to define a Python training again, okay, what happened? So I'm gonna type a one character before the double quotes. Okay, so that's what happened. This is an invalid syntax because X is nothing, right? What are the string literals you can simply use here? So if you would like to use a string literal, so there's a few string literals you can simply use here. Just this is a R. And why we have used a R? So R is used for a raw string. Okay, why I have used this particular string here? So let me explain along with few examples. So just look at this. Sometimes you have also used a skip sequence character inside the Python. Let's suppose took an example. This is a Python training you have right? If you want to print a Python training, you will find out your Python training inside a one line. But what happened if you would like to print your training into a next line? So for that, just you can simply type the backward slash n. What does it mean? So one, I have typed a backward slash n. So the meaning of the backward slash n is a new line, and this is called a skip sequence character I have used here. So when I have execute this shell and when I'm going to execute the next one, just look at, you will get your training into a next line. So this is a skip sequence word I have used. At the point is, let's suppose you like to type another name. I would like to type name 2. Okay, and here what I want to do, let's suppose I want to type my name is searching, right? So what happened if I want to print a backward slash? Okay, I would like to print a backward slash here as well. Okay, I would like to print backward slash here as well. So if you like to print backward slash here, so what happened, you would like to print your backward slash at multiple time in your string. Okay, this is some case if where you want to print. So what I'm gonna do, just I'm gonna try to print my name too. Okay, and just look at this, what happened here. So one, I have typed a backward slash. What does it, the backward slash is, you are able to see, right? But the earlier one what you have typed here, because that was a name, I didn't type slash n. So but what Python is consider, you have typed a slash n and it will give you the new line. So what if you want to do, if you don't want to use this particular character as a skip sequence, just you can simply type the R here. What does it mean? So you have defined this particular string as a raw string. Okay, it will not define any skip sequence. It will not consider any character as a skip sequence character. This is the raw string you have defined here. Just you have to put R before the quotes. Just define this and just you can simply print this string again. And you will find out your backward slash as it is. There's a no change in your string. You'll find out your string as it is. So that's why you have to use these type of literals in case of a string. So just look at this. In case of a string, this is also a string here. If you're going to type a single character, that was a character, but there's a no character data type inside the Python, you will find out only the one is string data type. Okay. And now the point is, if you would like to define a multi-line string, what does it mean? Sometimes if you would like to store this type of a string data, okay, what I want to do, I want to print my multiple name. Okay, the Sachin, or the, if you like to, I would like to print the Manish as well. Okay, Vishal. So what does it mean? I'm going to try to execute. This is an invalid syntax, right? This is a syntax error, because you have started the double quotes here, and you have and your double quotes here, and what happened, you have give the one enter here. You will not be able to define multi-line string using the double quotes. If you want to do this type of thing, just you can simply use a triple quotes for that. Okay, you have to use a triple quote set for that. What I'm going to do, just I'm going to do this thing. That's good. What I have done, so I have used triple quotes. Okay, just you can simply do create a multi-line string here. Now just you have to define multi-line string, just you have to execute this. And now if you would like to print your data, just you can simply use this method. What happened, you would find out your all values into a next line. That's a method. If you would like to define a multi-line string, just you can simply use a triple double quotes or a triple single quote. What will work fine along with you. That's a one method. And sometimes if you like to print your Unicode string, then you can simply use a U here. And sometimes if you like to print your raw string, just you can simply use RT here. So this is a method, guys. It's all about the string literals. Okay. And now in case of Boolean literals, so what are the Boolean literals you have to discuss here? So there's only two Boolean literals. You will find out the true and false. Okay. Sometimes you have to use your Boolean literal as well. True and false here. What does it mean? When you're going to type a true, and now true is also a keyword as well. Okay. And false is also a keyword. And these keyword also called a Boolean literals. What does it mean? The meaning of the true is 1. Okay. And the meaning of the false, the value of the false is equivalent to the 0. How you will be able to prove this value? Just let me explain. So first of all, I'm going to comment out this section. Just I'm going to execute what happened and what is actually a comment. If you will put a hash sign before your line, so that particular line will not be executed. What's the value of the true? If you're gonna type a true here, that actually it will give you the true. What happened? What if I'm gonna add a 1 inside the true? Just execute this, and what happened? You will get the true. So the value of the true actually is 1, and you will use this Boolean literal sometimes in condition as well, and you will use this Boolean literal sometime in functions as well. If you like to return it true from your function, so these values we will also discuss later. Okay, you can simply define multiple condition when you will use a if else here. Okay, let's suppose to get one example. You like to log in into a facebook.com. Okay, and where if you're gonna if I'm gonna open a one website, facebook.com. So what happened, you have to print your username. Okay, I'm gonna print my username, and you have to print your password as well. And when I'm going to password, so just I'm going to type a one normal password. So these value will be sent to the backend server using the some API or Ajax what I have used behind the scene. When you click on login button, what happened? So you will log in. Okay, there's a one condition of if your username will match along with your password. So there's a one condition they will match behind the scene. If your username will match along with your password, they will return it true as well. If your username will not match along with your password, they will return false. So that's actually where we have used these type of Boolean literals. Okay, so we will also discuss all these things in practical way as well, not to worry. Just these are some values. If I'm going to execute this shell, you will find out. So what I have done here, just I have used a normal some little bit operators. This is a one conditional operator I have used. Okay, we'll discuss all this in brief as well. So these are some normal things what I have written here. So all these are the Boolean returns, true and false. The meaning of the false is 0, and the meaning of the true is equivalent to the 1. Just look at this. True plus 4 will become 5, and false plus 10 will become still 10, because the value of the false is 0. When you're gonna add 0 inside the 10, that will be still same. Okay, and now there are some special literal as well in case of Python. What are the special literal? Just that was a none. Okay, if you don't want to store some value in your variable, just you can simply use this method. Okay, and now please mute yourself, guys. Let me mute. Please don't do this. Okay, now let me move forward. So now what we need to do, so and now after that we have to discuss about the literal collection as well, and now these are the list, tuple and dictionary. So what all these are, so let me explain in brief. Okay, so let me close this notebook first of all, and after that I'm going to explain all these things in brief. So let me create a new notebook for the list first of all. So in today's session, first of all, we will discuss about the list. You know very well, guys, how you would be able to create your variables. What are the sort of rules you have to follow when you are trying to create your variables in case of Python. So what I'm going to do, just we will discuss about the list and what is actually a list. So let me explain. So here, what I'm going to tell you. So let's suppose if you want to store a multiple values, okay, let's suppose if you like to store the old username who have joined the Python batch right now, okay, you will find out that there's a 250 candidates. Okay, now if you like to store all the names of the user, what I'm going to do, just you have to type a name one, right, and you have to type your name for first user, and just the first user is AARIT. If I'm going to type a name two of the another user, that will be a Astha. Okay, so what happened? Just you have to use a multiple variable in at that time. This is not a good condition if you like to store a same type of data structure. The or either you can simply say if you wanna store a multiple values, just you have to create a same type of variable again and again. This is not a nice idea to store your multiple variables when you like to store. So instead of using this, we have used arrays, right? So in case of Python, arrays are not the inbuilt. If you like to store the, if you want to use an array, just you can also use, but arrays not are the inbuilt. You have to import the arrays before using that. But in case of Python, we will discuss about the containers. Okay, which type of containers we will discuss? So we'll discuss about the list, tuple, and set. We will also discuss about the dict as well. And what are the containers, or what are the difference between the containers and array? So let me explain. So if you will discuss about the difference between the containers and the array, so in case of array, you would be able to store the same type of value. Okay, let's suppose if you want to store a integer value inside a one variable, just you would be able to do that using the array. If you would like to store all the string into a single variable, you would be able to do using the array. But when you will use a container, just you can simply use list, tuple, set, dict, any else container. Okay, so in case of container, you would be able to store a different data type into a single variable. So this is a main difference you have to remember. In case of array, you can simply store a single data structure. In case of container, you can simply store a different data structure into a single variable. What does it mean? So Vikanta, please, yeah, don't use the notations. Let me explain. You can simply type your doubt into the chat box. I'm going to take your doubt from there. So what does it mean? So let me, if you like to store all values, right? So just you can simply use a single thing. After that, you have to use a square bracket. Okay, what I'm trying to define, so I'm trying to define a list structure here. So if you like to store all names, just you can simply type all names. So let me copy and paste. So this is the first name I would like to store. If you would like to store the second name, just I'm gonna copy and paste. Okay, I'm gonna type the third name as well. Okay, either instead of, now these are the string I have defined inside the names, right? And now sometime if you like to define the age as well of the candidate, just you can simply define 20 and 21. So what does it mean? So just look at, this is a string data type, and now this is an integer data type. Either you can also use a float as well. What does it mean? I have choose a different data type into a single variable as called names. Just you have to execute this shell. What I have done, so I've defined a 5 element inside a single variable called names. What's the data structure? What is the type of this variable? Just look at this. When you're gonna execute this, you will find out this is a list. So what does it mean? So I have created a one list here, and now in case of list, how you would be able to create a list? So in Python, each and every data type you have to use a different type of brackets. So in case of list, if you would like to define any list here, so you have to use a square bracket. This is a one method, right? And the another method to define a list, just we can simply type this method. You can also use this method if you would like to define a one more thing, cause. So just you can simply call a list function here. Okay, when you're gonna call your list function, just you can simply pass a multiple values inside the square bracket. So we will offer the Python as well. We will offer the ML as well, DevOps as well. That's cool. So what I have done, so this is another method to define a list, and that was a one method. You can simply use any method. It's your choice what method you would like to use. You can simply check out the type of course, and now you will find out this is a list what I have defined here. Now comes to the next part. And now, first of all, let's take an example. I have defined a names, right? If you like to print the names here, just you can simply type the names and you will find out you would be able to print all the values of the names. But the point is now we have to discuss about the indexing. What is actually indexing is? If you will discuss about the indexing, first of all, you have to count the number of elements what you have stored inside the names. Just if you're going to count the number of elements, this is the first element, second, third, fourth, fifth. The total length of your elements will be 5. Instead of counting manually, just you can simply use a one more inbuilt function called len. Okay, so this is another function you can simply use if you like to count a length of any data structure apart from integer and apart from float as well. So here what you have to do, just you have to type names here, because the type of names is list and it will give you the number of element. So how many elements you have stored inside the names? 5. And how many elements you have stored inside the course? 3. Okay, this is a one method you can simply use. The next thing, let's suppose if you like to print the names here. Okay, now the point is you don't want to print the whole names. Okay, only you like to print the asta from here. So now if you like to print some values, then you have to learn about the indexing. So when you will discuss about the indexing, so what is actually indexing is, so in case of list or in case of multiple data structure, you will find out, so each and every element in your data structure have their own unique index number. What does it mean? And the index number always start from 0. So the index number of Akarti is 0 and the index number of Ashta is 1, the 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, now this is a method how you'll be able to define your indexing. All the index number have already defined. You don't have to worry, only you have to know which element have which index, right? So this is one method how what is indexing is. So the index number always start from 0. Okay, and now this particular code I didn't execute because I have changed the type in markdown. Now if you like to store just as it is, this you can simply execute. This is a normal markdown method what I have defined. So each and every element of your data structure have their own unique index number, and the index number will start from 0, and just you can simply find out the total index number you have stored inside the names is 4. And now the next thing you have to learn called slicing. Okay, and what is actually slicing is, so in case of slicing, instead of printing your whole names, if you like to print a one name from your names, okay, if you like to print only Akarti from here, so what does it mean? You need to do, you need to use a slicing operator here. What are the slicing operator? So the slicing operator is also used in a square bracket. Okay, and how you would be able to use these square brackets, so let me explain. So the point, let's suppose if you want to print any one index from whole names, just you can simply type the square bracket after your variable name, and here you have to put your index number, which index number you would like to print. Just you can simply put the 0 here, just execute this shell, and you will get the 0th element of your names. If you want to type a 1 here, so what happens? So you will get the first element of your list. So this is a method how can you simply do indexing. And if you're going to type a 2 here, if you're going to type a 3 here or 4, whatever you type, so you will get the 4th element of your names. Okay, this is an index number what you have to pass in case of inside the square brackets. Now the next thing, let's suppose sometimes instead of printing the single values, all right, so what do you want to do? If you want to print both the values, okay, Akarti and the Ashta, you like to print both the string values from your name. So for that, what do you want to do here? Just you can simply give the two parameter into the same operator, because inside the slicing operator you would be able to pass maximum 3 values. Okay, what are the 3 values? First of all, this is a starting point and this is the end point. If you want to pass 2 values, in case of 3 values, just you can simply pass starting point, end point, and the step, or either you can simply say called difference. Okay, so this is a method what you want to follow. So what I have used, until yet only I have passed a one value. That particular value will be used for a single element. In case of two values, just you have to pass the starting and the end value. So let me explain. So the point, you would like to print Akarti and the Ash, the both name from your names here. So for that, from where would you like to start? So you would like to start from 0, right? The index number of the Akarti is 0. And until where would you like to end? You would like to end on Ash and the index number of this one. But in case of Python, there's a one more rule. In case of when you are using a slicing operator, it will not include this particular value. It will include the starting point and it will exclude the last one. Always when you are trying to print multiple values, so you have to give a one extra number here. If you will use this method, only you will get the one name. So always you have to give a one extra number. So what does it mean? It will print the all index from 0 to 1. Just look at this. If you will use another method, just look at this. If you're gonna type, instead of I'm gonna type it 3 here, what does it mean? So now it will print the index number 0, 1 and 2, and now you will get the 30 hours and 20. What happened if you like to print 20, 21, 12.5? So on that point, just you can simply type this method as well. Names, you can simply type from where would you like to start? You like to start from second index. If you like to print only numbers, and here you have to put 5. And look at this, you'll find out all the numbers. And now there's a one more thing you have to remember in case of slicing, because in case of slicing, the values of the start will be default as 0, and the value of the end will be default will be the nth. You can simply say the nth element. Okay, what does it mean? Let me explain. So the point is, if you will not type 0, if you will not type 2 here, or if you will not type the 5 as well, let me explain. So what does it mean? So what I have typed 2, right? And I have left the second parameter, but I have typed colon, right? So what does it mean? Now it will take a default end value. So just look at the difference and you will instant until you will get the all three values here. And now in case of names, if you want to print both the string, just you can also use this method. What does it mean? So when you will not type any element here, it will take the default value of the starting point. What are the default value of the starting? That will be a 0. Just you can simply execute this. You will find out all the elements. So this is a one more method we can simply use inside the slicing. And what is actually a third one? That will be a step or difference. What does it mean? So let me explain. Let's suppose if you have multiple data, to explain this thing, I'm going to create another list. Okay, this is the one I have. This is the one another list what I have created. You can simply check out the type of this list. This is the list what I have created here. And now inside this list, if you like to print some values from here, just we can simply use this method. Okay, if you want to fetch a third index, you will find out the 12, because the third index is 12. If you would like to fetch the second, that will be a 30. But now the point is, if you're gonna use this method 0, okay, you want to print from 0, and until you want to print from 6, okay, what does it mean? You will get, if you want to print until 7, just you will find out 0 to 7, and the step between the 0 to 7 is 1, right? That's why you will get the whole values here. And now the point, when I'm going to type the values 1 here, this is a difference what I'm typing here. Just what it will do for you, when it will print the value, the first value it will print 0, right? And now after that, it will print the first index, because it will add a difference what we have defined. After that, once it will print the index number 1, it will add the difference again. Now the next value it will print 2. After that, again it will add 1, and now it will become 3. So that's why 3 plus 1 again, it will become 4. And now that's why it will print the values second, third, fourth, all the index what you are able to see, because the default value of the difference is 1. If you're going to change this difference, okay, let me show you. Instead of 1, if you're going to type 2, what happened? So first of all, it will give you the 0 index, right? Just look at this. This is a 10. This is a 0 index. After that, it will add 2 inside the 0. And what does it mean? So it will print the second index. So just it will skip the 20 here, and it will print the second index. After that, it will add 2 again. Now after that, it will print the fourth index, 12, and after that 6 index is 4. So that's how you can simply define one step values using this particular method. Okay, so all these are, now let me explain. So now these are the 3 values you can simply provide inside the slicing operator, right? Now if you want to use this method, So this is a slicing operator. The first will be a start value. The default value of the start is 0. The second will be the AND value, and the default value of the AND will be the default value of the AND is equivalent to the length of your variable, right? And the last value is a step, and the default value of the step is 1 here. So that's how a slicing operator is work. So let me comment out, and this is what I have defined here. So this is a starting point, this is an ending point, and this is a step point. What step you have ticked to when you are trying to print your values. When I have used a third step here, what does it mean? So it will print the first 0 value. After that, it will print this one. After that, it will print that 4. Just execute. Just look at this 10, 12, 4. It will skip the 3 index again and again. That's why you will get these indexes. Let me explain the more things here now. Now the point is, one, you will discuss about the list, right? So there's a multiple functionalities you will find out inside the list, and those are called the methods of the list. What are the methods of the list here? So if you like to check out all the methods, what you can simply use along with the list is you can simply use this method dir, or instead of telling this before. Now the point is, if you want to add more values, if you want to add more names, let's suppose the earlier one 250 students have been joined inside the Python session, but the right now 4 students also have joined. So let's take an example. You have already done the 250 entries in your list, and now you would like to add 4 more students into the same list. So what happen on that point? What are you going to do? So you have to call some methods of your list. Okay, what methods I'm talking about? So the first method I'm going to tell you, it's the append method. When you are trying to call your method, so right now I'm going to tell you only the one method, how you would be able to call your methods. But when we will learn about the OOPS concept, so there I'm going to tell you the different method, how you can simply call all these things. So right now only you have to understand the one thing. So this is a names variable what I have defined. And now if you would like to add more names inside the same list, so just you can simply call a append method of name. Just you have to put down the dot here. After the dot, you have to type the method name. And now append method is used to add more values at the end of the list. And how it will work, so let me explain with one example. So let's suppose there's a one more student have been joined, and what's the name of the student? So let me pick a random. That's cool. And now I would like to add one more name here. So the name I'm going to type is Abid, right? So what I want to do, I want to add this name inside the same list. So what I have done, so that was a string I would like to add, that we have to type inside the double quotes. Just so you can simply execute this part. So what I have done here, so you have successfully append Abid inside the names, and how you verify is you can simply print the names again. Let's look at this. So when you're gonna use a append method of your list, it will add the new element at the end of your list always. Okay, so this is a method you can simply use it. And now if you like to add a one more value, yep, you can also add. And now I'm gonna add a AD grant here. Let's look at this, done. Either you can simply use a double quotes or single quotes, because you know very well both the operators are using when you are trying to define your string. You can simply print the names here and just look at the values what I have defined. So the AD grant has been also appended at the end of your list. So that's how you can simply add the element inside the list. And now the next thing we have to remember, let's suppose took an example. If I would like to add a value at a particular place instead of at the end of the list, okay. Sometimes if I would like to add a one value between the Akarti and the Ashta, I would like to add a one value at a first index. So on that point, you have to learn about the indexing again. And so when you would like to add some values at a particular point, so you have to use a different method instead of append. What method you're gonna use? So on that point, you have to use the insert method. Okay. And now that was another method I'm using here called insert. And in case of insert, actually, these are called the parameters, or you can simply call, please mute yourself, guys. Now that's cool. And now what I'm talking about, so names dot insert I have typed here. So what does it mean? Because this is a different method what I have called here, and now this is a AD grant what I have passed, and now this AD grant is called a argument of this method. Okay, so but in case of insert you have to pass two argument, because in case of append you have to pass one argument. What type of two argument I have to pass? So first of all you have to tell the index number, on which index number would you like to add a one value. So you want to add on index number 1, just you can simply type 1 here. Okay, now which value you would like to add? So I would like to add Python or triple line. Either you can simply add a number as well, it's your choice. Just run this shell, just look at the values again, and just find out, you'll find out your triple line has been inserted on index number 1. That's how you can simply insert your elements on a specific or a particular index. Okay, and now, sorry, my bad. So the point, if you like to add a one more value, just you can simply use the insert on which index number, either 0, or either you can simply pass a different index number as well. I would like to add on top of 0, and what I'm going to add, so I'm going to add a Python here. So just execute this, and now you'll find out names. So these are the example to understand what I have done. So I have add this method on top of. And now the one important thing you have to remember here, guys, the point is how you can simply learn all these things. So in case of Python, this is the beauty of Python. You don't have to learn anything, right? You don't have to learn which parameter you have to pass here and which parameter you have to pass. So for taking help inside the Python, you don't have to worry about the Google. Please don't do this, guys. Please mute yourself. Okay, so what I have done, so if you like to take help inside the Python, so for that just you can simply use this method, guys. So if you don't remember any method name, just you can simply type the dir function, and dir function will tell you all the methods of any data structure. So which data structure you are talking about right now? If you want to know all the methods of the names variable, right? Just you can simply type the names here or execute this particular thing. And you will find out these are the multiple methods. These are all the methods you can simply use along with list. And now just I have used a append one, right? And I have also used a one insert. So all these are the methods you can simply use, and these are the normal methods, and these are called the doodles methods, right? And now most of the time we will not use a doodle method. We will use a doodle method in case of advanced Python. So, but just right now you will learn all these methods here. And now until yet we have discussed append as well. We have also discussed about the insert. And now the next point I'm going to tell you, if you don't know how can you simply use this method, the beautiful function you can simply use name as help. Inside the help, just you can simply type names dot, or either you can simply type the list, because all the methods are from list, right? This list dot, if you like to know about the append function, what's the work of append, just you can simply type this or execute. So you will find out a help page here. So what it will do for you, so when you're going to call a append function, you have to pass a object here. Okay, so what you are trying to do when you're going to call a append function, so you have to pass your object. And what is actually self? Just not to worry about the self. Self is the object in which object you are trying to add. So, and now what happened? Append object to the end of the list. If you're going to take a help inside a different function, let me explain. So for that, just you can simply use this method again. My bad. List dot insert, right? In case of insert, you will find out, first of all, you have to pass index number. After that, you have to pass the object as well. So this is the beauty of the Python. You don't learn anything, just you can simply use this function, always help function. And now it will give you the help of list dot insert. And now how you would be able to use the insert, just you have to pass both values, and now it will do for you. And now if you want to help, if you like to take a help in whole function, just you can simply type the list here, just enter, and now it will give you the whole page. So all these are the methods you can simply call. These are the append method, clear, copy, count. So you have to try these functions all, guys. So you have to try all these functions or method on, otherwise I'm gonna copy all these functions as well in next session as well. Just I'm gonna take it fast because I have told you how you can simply use all these methods. Just you have to try this concept on. Okay, just we can simply say this is a one normal task I have assigned you. You have to use all these methods your own self. Okay, you have to use pop, remove, reverse, count. You have to read all these methods and what all these methods done, what all these methods did for you. Just you can simply drop your comment into the Slack workspace, okay, in a Python group. So just this is a normal task I have assigned for you, and now it's a Q&A time. Just I'm gonna open the chat box. If you have still any doubt in today's session, just let me know. Yeah, I'm gonna share the all notebooks what I have created in today's session. Right now, I'm gonna share all these notebooks in a 5 minute in Slack workspace. Only the task you have to execute, you have to try to execute all these functions. Just only read out. You can simply read all the methods, what all methods the div will do for you. Just you can simply use this function to understand all the methods. Okay. So if you have any doubt, just let me know into the chat group, guys. Okay. So this is a actually I didn't tell you any assignment. This is a normal task I have assigned for you right now. Just you can simply drop your task into the Slack workspace. Yeah, array also exists in Python, but if you want to use an array, then for that just you have to import the arrays, right? Before using the arrays, you have to import the arrays. I will give you the assignment soon, guys. Don't worry about the assignment. Please clarify the difference between the literal and the data types. Actually, if you talk about the difference between the data type and the literal, because data type is also part of a literal, right? Because literals are the special characters you have used inside the Python. If you're gonna use a square bracket or curly braces, UB, 0B, 0x, all are the literals. Okay, so data type is one of part of a literal, and you will find out the different literals. So data type will cover inside the special literals. Okay, so difference I have told you guys. Can I? Yep, you can also use a quad block ID. How import arrays? Okay, we will discuss about the array list later, guys. Don't worry about this. Just how you would be able to import the modules in case of Python. There was a one specific chapter for the modules. We will discuss all these things there. Okay, one you're gonna use a -1. Oh, that was actually called a negative indexing. You can also use a negative indexing. Okay, because if you wanna discuss about the indexing here, what I have told you, if you would like to put, let's suppose that you can also use a negative indexing. What does it mean? So you can also assign the negative index. Okay, because every element have their own negative index as well, and the negative index will start from -1, not from 0, right? And how you would be able to fetch all these index? So for that, just you can simply type the negative index here. Let me mute again. And for that, just you can simply type the names here. Inside, you can simply type a -1. What does it mean? You are trying to fetch the values of the 12.5. Okay, if you're gonna type in names -3, what does it mean? You are trying to fetch the values of 20. Yes, this is a negative index. Okay, and now let me wrap up this session, guys. Okay, I'm gonna drop this notebook. Bye. And now there's a one important announcement from the Slack workspace. Just don't leave the chat.
Thank you so much everyone for joining us, and many of you are already